welcome back to another edition of the John Wayne Surge Protector podcast, a 60/40 production. I'm Eric Halsey.
I'm Alex Midway. Today's our Thursday episode. It's close enough to Friday for me, so I figured we start off with a game. Up for a little who said it and why?
Always.
So the quote is, "We wanted surprise. Who better about surprise than Japan, okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Who said it and why?"
Whew. It's got an articulate ring to it that it's screaming presidential, so I'm guessing that's our embarrassment in chief.
That is correct. Where do you think he said this? And in what context?
I'm going to say it had to have been ballroom related somehow, maybe an architect.
Not exactly. It's what ended up happening is our mover and shaker was meeting with the Japanese Prime Minister, Sanae Takaishi. No. Yep. And he was saying Japan's about to step up with the Strait of Hormuz, and they're gonna come help him out. And he was asked a question. He's like, "Hey man, so about the Strait of Hormuz, like, why don't you tell the allies about the attack?" To which he again, I'll read it to you. He's like, "Why don't you tell Japan about an attack?" He replied with, "We wanted surprise. Who better about surprise than Japan, okay? Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor?" To which the Prime Minister looked visibly uncomfortable. So he's on stage asking him about Pearl Harbor while he's saying, "You need to help us out this time."
God, I can only assume this ended with him like aggressively patting the Prime Minister of Japan on the back and being like, "Now don't make me go Nagasaki again."
I honestly want to see him meet the German Chancellor now too, and just bring up WW2. He's like, "How come you didn't tell us about Hitler?" Like, Jesus, man.
Yeah, you guys were doing really well there till you biffed it. Like, that's not how we talk about this.
He was a pretty good guy. You should have given him a second chance. Like, what the hell?
You know, as a beautiful painter. It was
My Secretary of War really loves the guy. I got a couple copies of Mein Kampf. I have more copies of that than the Bible, and I've also read more of it.
Yeah, that's what a giant stupid embarrassment. Love it, and it's actually pretty on brand.
He really gets into it, and I'll try to find a copy of the actual video and leave it in the show notes. But they ask him, and it's like a light bulb goes off in his head. He's like, "Oh, I know the perfect response to this," and he just gets loud and he looks at her, and she's like, "Oh boy."
Well, you know what? At least he went historical and not like, "Hey, you know how you guys start effing octopuses and stuff now?" So I guess it could have been worse.
He keeps asking everyone to come out there. He's like, "Come on, join my armada. Like, send me some like help." He's like, "Buddy, why don't you ask Israel to send you a couple ships?" Like, "Oh wait, never mind, because we're doing their bidding."
Yeah, it's weird when you go alienate and then tariff and then basically do whatever you can to give a giant middle finger to the allies and then to go ask them for help with zero shame.
Yeah,
it is. I don't know, man. Hit your kids.
I saw a clip, and I'm gonna mess up this country. It was either Finland or it's somewhere in Europe. And there's an Australian, interviewer on there. And she's like, "Hey, when you talk to Trump, why don't you just tell him, since he wants all these things, tell him you'll help him with the Strait of Hormuz if he just does all these things for Ukraine?" And the guy's like, "You know, that's a pretty good point." So he's like, "I might actually do that."
Well, you know, I hope they do. And if I know this administration, they will keep their word because word is bond.
They are.
No, hold on. My mistake. That's Wu-Tang. Yeah, do not trust us right now. We got like 1.5 more years.
Oh, if we get elections again, but that's we'll deal with that when it comes. But let's kick it off. Tesla ticker is 392 before, it's 380 today. Apparently the probe is by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, and they're looking to see if the FSD can adequately detect degraded road conditions and warn drivers in time. There's been about 9 deaths in there, over 3.2 million vehicles. And honestly, I don't know, it's really not the worst numbers.
9 deaths over 3 million vehicles is not bad at all. But honestly, nothing will ever make me trust an autonomous, and I'm doing air quotes here, driving vehicle. It's just ludicrous. We don't need it.
I fully disagree. I would love to take naps as I drive around places and just wake up somewhere.
Well, no one loves a nap more than this guy, but I refuse to trust the computers. I saw Terminator 2 at a very young age, and it put the fear in me, and I appreciate that fear.
I, for one, welcome our robot overlords. So when it does come time for it, but honestly, we're Tesla's saying that they might be rolling out the new AI 6 chips for the new cars with Optimus and the new Teslas a little bit quicker. And Elon came out and said, "It's if we're lucky and with the help of AI acceleration, we might complete the tape out in December." And usually when Elon speaks, the markets listen. But this time around, Elon's speaking after a Samsung exec, the company that's going to be building those chips, came out yesterday and is like, "Yeah, man, we're rolling out the second half of 2027.
No, you don't let facts get in the middle of a good story.
He's always with his timeline. He's like, "In 7 days we'll do something." Like, the F you are, Elon.
Yeah, BB teach you that time frame. The time's really just yes, if you look at time as linear, like everybody does, then he's a liar. But if you look at it more as a construct, then saying stupid things like specifically December is also a lie. So I guess he's kind of screwed either way.
Can I use time as a construct on my clock-in card over at Tesla? So
there you go.
Yeah. Let's kick it over to Honey Badger Stand, and I want to do a little bit different to start off today. A long time we've been talking about it. Well, every time we essentially talk, either Russia hitting some civilian plant or Ukraine finding another way to kind of stay alive for a couple days longer. But we never really talked about the experience of the people down there. And I ran across an article about some school kids in the Kharkiv region, which is kind of northeastern Ukraine, very close to Russia. And it kind of reminded me, like, we really haven't looked at how they're living. Down here during COVID, schools were technically stopped for about a year and everybody went nuts. Like, these kids are coming up on about 5 years of getting fire and brimstone on them.
Yeah, it's almost the same thing I keep saying about like money and how like we're using words like billion and trillion frivolously. It almost like you can't see the trees because of the forest kind of deal, where you don't even really think about like there's tons of kids getting just wailed on. It's not just adults dressed as grocery stores and soldiers and tanks dressed up as libraries.
Yeah, like we think the conflict's like it's out there. He's killing elderly people. He's killing people of a military fighting age, and it's all this. But it's like it's actual kids, and like they came out of a metric. About 4,000 schools, kindergartens, and universities in Ukraine have been destroyed in the Kharkiv region down there. More than 2/3 of the schools are out there, and like they can't hang out in groups because if they're at these schools, like that is a prize in the eyes of a Russian drone operator. So what they're doing is they're having all these classes in underground bunkers and metro stations. And I don't know, man, like that's a complete change from how we grew up.
Yeah, a few years ago, I would not have cared so much because being inside a casino rules. But now that I'm old and have determined I suck at gambling, sometimes you need to see the sun to see what time it is. Get some fresh air.
It's like
schools in like underground train stations is just brutal.
Like you're out there having classes, and between them, like you can at least see the sun, you can see the weather. Like you find out what it is, you know what time of day it is, and for recess you go outside. Like these kids do not have any of that.
Yeah, and, it's terrible. I mean, like, yeah, the war and the bullets and the explosions are probably worse, but not being able to see the bright sun like we have here in Arizona I feel bad for them.
Yeah, so Arizona's awesome. It's always good outside. It's a dry heat. The best. Let's go Cardinals or whoever plays on that team. But as I kept reading the article, another thing came out. Like, again, we're looking at this through our lenses. The way that these kids see these underground bunkers, they actually see it as kind of a safe space. Like they were talking about doing homework at home, like at your house, like type it on your computer. You don't know if a drone's going to hit you that day. You don't know if that's the day a missile goes in through a window. Like on their way down to like these bunkers and these metro stops, none of them go wait by the bus, because if they're out there, again, in a giant congregation, some Russian drone pilot's going to take a Shaheed right into them. So while we look at these underground places like, oh, this sucks, it ruins everything, like these kids, like, we actually don't fear dying down here. F the sun, like, this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, this is where the rockets aren't.
Yeah. Like, the complete twist of what these kids are going through, and the fact, like, they'll never be the same as what we went through. And I don't know, man. It really kind of opened my eyes. We don't usually talk about the people effect, and I just wanted to go ahead and do that one real quick.
No, it kind of clarifies the situation. You get into like big numbers and, talking in generalities, and then, like P.S., thousands and thousands of Ukrainians died. Let's just look at one, and it kind of makes things like, oh my God, this is so much worse. Like the gravity of it really hits you.
It makes it relatable. I mean, you kind of like look at it like, and you remember your own childhood. You remember like kicking the like kickball and like lunch, everything else, the sun. Some days you get a snow day. Like it's completely different from what they are going through.
Yeah, it's rough when you start looking a little bit closer. It's not a fun watch, but glad you did that.
Yeah, but let's go back to the basics. It's where our bread and butter is, and talk about diet dictator Viktor Orban and how he's looking to keep that thing going the same way, because he is the dissenting voice about giving any sort of aid to Ukraine. And Ukraine right now is still waiting on a 90 billion euro or 103 billion freedom units loan from the EU. And Orban's not blocking any sort of aid, any kind of gimme putt. He's blocking a loan that will help Ukraine fight for its life. And Ukraine is currently protecting the EU's eastern flank from, I don't think at this point it's a question of whether Putin's going to stop. Like, it's kind of a known thing. He's going to keep going.
Well, we don't know that. Hitler famously stopped in Poland, so, things could. This glass half full thing's getting harder and harder with this podcast, buddy.
I looked into it, why Orban's doing it, because he can't just, like, Ukraine's kind of a cool thing right now. Like, oh, it's a little country that's cool fighting, it's the underdog. Like, it's kind of a cool issue unless you listen to OAN or any of those sources. But I was like, you know what? Why is Orban such anti-Ukraine? And apparently it's because there's a pipeline called the Druzhba pipeline. It means friendship in Russian. And it's running from Russia through Ukraine, and it used to supply oil to Hungary. And the Ukrainians looked at it like, so this thing right here is just a whole bunch of money going to finance a war that's going to F us up. It's like, why don't we just blow it up? Like, cool. So they blew it up. And they're like, oh, yeah. And Orban's like, you got to fix. He's like, you got it, buddy. And they're sending just one guy there a day. He's like, turns a couple screws. He's like, guess I'll come back tomorrow and do it.
I like it. I mean, there's only so much we can ask Ukraine to hang themselves. You know what I mean? Like, at some point, you have to expect they're going to fire back.
Like, you have a bully at school, and like you just see a supply of money going through your living room that is going to let that bully buy brass knuckles to punch you in the mouth. Like, I'm going to cut off that supply. Like, it's a very easy choice for me. Like, I don't get, like, what Viktor Orban doesn't understand. Like, it is a pipeline for cash to build drones to crash into Ukrainian cities. Like, yeah, we're going to blow it up, you big dummy.
Yeah, zero arguments on this. And gotta tell you, Orban can take a long walk off a short pier.
Run backwards through a field of male genitalia. So, Orban's got this whole thing going on, and honestly, it's not about the oil. He's just been cozying up to Putin, but this is the excuse that he's using. But the Czech Republic has actually come out and has a little bit of a solution to wean everybody off Soviet products. And what they're doing is they're going to take the Druzhba pipeline and they're going to kind of reverse the flow on it. So instead of a bunch of oil coming from Russia to the west, they're going to go ahead and take some oil that's going to go start coming from the Czech, which get a bunch of their oil, gas, and everything else from the Adria pipeline that starts out in Croatia. And they're just going to start using like European products and everything else, stuff that isn't from a country, trying to eliminate another country. And they tossed that idea out today, so it's relatively new, and I'm interested to find out what Orban says. But either way, come on, Peter Magyar, who's on the upcoming election on the 15th of April.
Yeah, there's not a chance. Orban's going to find some way to make this anti-Semitic or something. Like, you know, it's going to be a BS excuse of why not, because he can't just come out and say, because I'm in Putin's pocket.
Yeah. He's like, no, Zelensky's a Nazi. Like, he's literally Jewish.
Nothing worse than a self-loather. Like, this is not a thing.
So we were talking earlier, and one of the things that's we talked about this a while back was the Max app that Russia was developing. And it's kind of a little recap for everybody. It's a state-sponsored messenger app. It's also for your banking info. It's supposed to do everything, but it's made by the government. And so if you remember a gentleman by the name of Snowden, so everything you warned us about, just go ahead and multiply that. And that's essentially what Russia is trying to develop right now. And in Russia, they had a bunch of blackouts as far as the internet goes. So you couldn't access the internet, your WhatsApp, and anything else. And they're thinking that they're trying to slow roll that app just to find out how it's doing.
I mean, it makes sense. It's a great way to keep your thumb on your people. Yeah, good for them. Good for them. As long as it stays in Russia, I don't care. As long as our guy doesn't get any ideas, we should be okay.
I mean, our guy's already said that he might tell the FCC to not renew licenses of anybody who does bad coverage of Iran. And by bad coverage, it's any coverage.
Well, it's a good thing we all stream and the internet's still running wild and free for now.
Yeah. So last thing on Max, they're thinking the reason they're trying to roll it out right now is some people have been talking about Putin escalating this to a full-on war, because it's actually been a little bit of a black eye on him. And when he escalates it to a full-on war, that means it's going to be a full-on draft, kind of like how we're talking here. So it's a little mirror image. So if you were wondering what country we're very much like, it's going to be Russia.
Yeah, I mean, we're in slightly different positions. Putin has not decapitated his enemy yet. So, you know, if you can't trust that, this could be over tomorrow. This could be over in 30 years. We don't know yet.
Oh, I don't think it's going to be over tomorrow, because the Pentagon is looking for another $200 billion from Congress to go ahead and continue this United States-Israel war with Iran. And let's see. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said there's no time frame for when it's ending. And, you know, I read something the other day, and it said the toughest part of a 20-year war is the first 4 weeks. And we're about to get over the hump, boys. So looking forward to the easy sailing.
You know, I think it's a little funny that Trump clearly said we decapitated the country. But old tough guy Petey, old alpha male Hegseth over here is somehow needing troop boots on the ground, maybe a draft, and $200 billion to beat a decapitated opponent. I mean, maybe we should get a drag queen in there to run the show. Let's get this thing moving. You know what I mean?
I'm so glad we have nothing but the best leaders just guiding us along. Like a guy who's bringing up Pearl Harbor to the Japanese Prime Minister, Pete Hegseth, who needs $200 billion to, I don't know, just earmark for Israel. And Scott Bessent with his small businesses of 15 homes.
Pin in that. I've got a new least favorite person of the week for this administration.
All right. Well, fair enough. Let's get to the financial portion here. Now, did you hear all the stuff coming out of Washington State about the tax bill?
No.
So this is something that we were going to talk about on an earlier episode, I think 2 episodes back. Had to push it. We are running a little short on time, and it's developed a little bit more. So when I first drew this up, the House in Washington State had approved 51-46 a tax. They called it a millionaire tax. It was going to do 9.9% tax on people making over $1 million. At that point, it still needed to pass the Senate. Actually passed that on the 12th, so it's now waiting to go to the governor's desk, and he already said that he would sign it. But Washington, the CEO of Starbucks has went ahead and said this is unsustainable. I'm going to be leaving.
Well, you know what? Salutations. I'm sure he's probably over the $1 million a year mark.
Just a scotch.
So you know what? I would love to see what state are you going to move? What because honestly, I don't know much about Washington State other than Seattle football, Arizona. Yeah, we hate. And, Starbucks coffee, since heroin and grunge is out. Where's he going to go to find what state's going to take a guy like this where he can really, really help his brand?
It's Florida. It's always Florida or Texas.
Oh, well, there's about to be meth in your coffee, guys. I don't know what to tell you.
We'll get into a little bit more of him, but first I want to go in, let's hear from the two competing sides, the Democrats and the Republicans, and they're all reasoning on it. And the Democrats are saying that it would help raise revenue for priorities such as school, healthcare, housing, and public safety. And they say that the state's current tax code is asking working families to contribute a greater share of their income than the ultra-wealthy. Honestly, I don't disagree with that. Counterpoint Republicans. They said the tax is unconstitutional and it would eventually spread to more people. Yeah, I'm kind of paying 10% now and a little bit over that, but pinning that for later. They also argued that more of the revenue should go towards tax relief. So you're going to raise taxes on one and then tax relief somebody else, and it's not going to go to the little people. But yeah, that's those are the talking points.
Okay, so one side wants to fund, let me get back here, schools, healthcare, housing, and public safety.
Yes.
Which seems like community things we can all benefit from. And Republicans said, no, we want that money to go to Israel. Got it. Yes. All right, I'm caught up.
They said it's government overreach, and one day it will trickle down to the people. I don't know if you guys get this, but the poor are paying their taxes.
Yeah, I don't know if almost 50 years is acceptable data or not, but trickle down is a giant lie that has never once helped the average American.
You literally just work one day in a restaurant and see who tips you more. It's not the guy who's got all kinds of money. It's going to be a blue-collar person who knows what you've been doing, who's been in those shoes. It's the easiest example of trickle-down economics that I can point anyone to.
Hey, do you think the people in the top 2%, but not the top 0.5%, get upset that everybody's mad at them, but they're still not getting the really good tax relief?
Yeah. What's it called? I'm at a tax bracket where I'm making decent cash, but I'm definitely not eligible for any kind of loopholes or enough to pay a shady accountant. I'm kind of angry about that too. So I'm kind of like a 2%er.
Well, I'm like the rest because my job is directly linked to oil. It's been a rough couple weeks, guys.
I mean, everybody's jobs are linked to oil. Freaking petroleum's in everything. So all the plastic that we eat every year, that's oil. So maybe we'll eat less plastic.
Can't wait till we hit that Soylent Green part of the end of America where we start harvesting microplastics out of people.
Yeah. So let me just go over a couple of things as well. What's it called? Bob Ferguson's office said, he's the governor out there. The plan would repeal the state sales tax on diapers, over-the-counter drugs, and personal hygiene products. It would also expand the working families tax credit to an additional 460,000 households, and eligible families would get about $1,300 a year. Some people obviously call that communism. I think giving tax breaks to corporations is also communism, but whatever. And speaking of corporations, with this bill, businesses that gross less than $300K or ultra poor per year would pay no state business and occupation taxes. Those who are grossing $600,000 or less would qualify for credit. So companies that are making less than $1 million would also get some sort of a discount. This is just trying to make rich people pay their fair share.
Yeah. And so everybody keeps pounding their chest about, they want to be the voice of small business. I feel like this exactly helps small businesses.
Yes. So, I forgot to also say that another horrible communist thing that this thing is doing is 5% of the revenues on these ultra rich would fund a child care program. What more do you people want? But do you want to hear an actual breakdown of what's a cited study of how this would apply to rich people?
I would.
So let's say we are a little heterosexual couple. You're out there making $600K and I'm making $600K. Hey, again, this is theoretical. I said heterosexual, so relax. Okay. I already lied. But if we're not married, we're not subject to it. Again, it's for people making over $1 million. But if we get married and we make a combined total of $1.2 million, it's not $1.2 million that gets taxed under this. It's just for $200K on top. So for our combined money that we're making, we would be taxed on $200K, meaning we would pay $20,000 if we don't have any deductions whatsoever. So on $1.2 million, we would pay $20K, and that's they're saying it's a real dual income issue for professional couples. No, it's not. $20K is kind of small.
Yeah, that's not a lot of money.
No.
If you hand somebody making $1.2 million a $20,000 tax bill, which is evidently negotiable for some reason once you hit a certain pay level, that it's a sneeze. It's nothing. 20,000 to the average working American. We can't swear on this podcast, but I can. No, I'm going to try really hard not to. It's insane. Just pay the money. It's yours.
We get taxed on our whole budget. These guys, yeah, man, anything over $1 million, that's what's getting taxed. What the hell? And one thing they also brought up, some people are saying this is going to discourage businesses and what's it called? The stocks, founder shares. But founder shares are actually exempt on a federal level. And this bill, the way that it is worded, anything that's exempt on a federal level, it's exempt from this as well. So they're not talking about any kind of mass exodus of rich people or someone else, but some of these rich guys are making a very big deal about it.
And it's funny because when you make real money, from what I've learned through this podcast, you start taking a $10,000 a year salary from the company while using the rest as stock options to borrow as collateral so you never pay any taxes. It's called capital gains, and it is absolute frothy horse S. You know what? These guys aren't even the important ones if they're walking around like dummies taking a salary.
But let's go back to Howard Schultz real quick. So he's a big example because he was the most vocal one. So he made all that money in Starbucks. Go ahead.
This is the CEO from Starbucks, right?
That is correct.
Can I guess his net worth?
Oh, give it a shot.
Okay. Oh, he's crying about getting taxed on $200,000, which comes out to $20,000, assuming he's making $1.2 million. Is he making $1.2 million a year?
He is worth $3.5 billion.
Okay. So this is where I get why he's so concerned about 20 grand now.
First of all, they all have these accountants. Second of all, you've made all this money. You've paid absolutely nothing back into the system, which you use as a vehicle for all this wealth. And you haven't paid these taxes. The rest of us have been paying these taxes. And now that you have to do what we have to do, or a fraction of what we have to do, you're all screaming about it. And all these billionaires are like, we're moving somewhere else. Honestly, I don't understand what the downside is. You're not really contributing much. You might go to the local Wagyu place and buy a steak and tip $5, but you're not paying taxes. You're not contributing to the road. Effing leave.
Interestingly, I was listening to Gavin Newsom just rip someone from Fox to shreds a couple months back, where he was talking about, I think it was Elon moving to Texas because of the taxes. Because if there was ever a guy to be sympathetic of, it would be
world's
Elon
richest
Musk.
Man.
And Newsom brought up, he was like, yeah, we have this tax. We don't have this tax. We don't have this tax. Texas doesn't have the one tax he's complaining about, but their property taxes are the highest in the country, and they're this and that. And as far as I can tell from my logic, without my lawyer here, you can't get around a property tax. You can get around being taxed on your salary.
Well, it's also the whole thing when it's kind of like when a place wants to invite somebody, and Texas could have given him personal things and guarantees that they're going to give him. When you're trying to lure, let's say a giant Walmart or what's a Hunt store, or a Cabela's or someone else. they'll say, oh, since you're going to be providing all these jobs and everything else, we'll waive these taxes and these taxes and these taxes. So it could have been bad.
I agree. That still is not going to touch his property tax for the homes he owns there.
I mean, it's the same thing as Kid Rock when he was angry about Bud Light. He started shooting at Bud Light. It's the same thing with like Elon. All these woke mind viruses. I need to leave right now. Like, shut up, dude. Like, none of this is really hurting you. But did you hear Trump when he referred to President Gavin Newsom?
I did hear that.
If Biden calls someone else president, he'd be impeached under the 25th Amendment. But here we are, setting war to Iran.
Yeah, and I love that he took it immediately and ran with it. And he's like, as Trump clearly stated, I am now president of the United States. Thank you. And then immediately started asking on him. That's our next president. If we ever have elections again, that's the guy.
He's already president.
Oh, well, as we poked at a little bit earlier with the children in Ukraine talk, again, it gets a little, you almost get desensitized when you start hearing the numbers that we hear, where it's millions of dollars here, billions of dollars here, hell, even trillions being kicked around now from our insurmountable debt. And it has me a little bit worried about my meager net worth. Now, we can watch billions of tax dollars literally get blasted into a foreign country in real time. 7 million, 7 million, 7 million. Zoosh, zoosh, zoosh. But what does that do for struggling Americans like myself? The administration's alienated our allies, tariffed everything that moves, and went ahead and kicked a hornet's nest down in the area of the world that controls 20% of the oil. So everything's more expensive now for anybody who didn't slither out of a 1%er. And we're seeing stagnant wages. Are you seeing anything on your side?
Well, I just read an article today. What's it called? It's about AI. And it just came up on it. Give me one sec. It kind of caught me off guard on this. Goldman Sachs went ahead and said that massive investments in AI contributed to, can you guess what's next?
Is it unemployment rates?
Basically zero to U.S. economic growth last year.
Oh, okay. So it's not the robots yet.
Yeah, they also went into it a little bit. So what ended up with all these investments in AI, it was stock buybacks and firing employees. They went over a bunch of numbers, like they started getting rid of people. And I mean, it's cool. You could have this little Claude bot and everything else, but right now, AI is not really there, and they just keep saying like, "Oh, it's about to happen. It's about to happen." Like, okay, well, Elon Musk's been saying it for a while too, but I think you guys are speeding it up a little too much. So it's gotten worse.
Yeah, no, it's going to get much, much worse. But
I don't think it's AI. I think it's the president. But yeah.
Come on, cholesterol. So going into a very volatile midterms this year, what does the administration tell John Q. Voter about what they're going to do for him? And instead of just assuming I know, I'm going to leave that to the National Economic Council Director, Kevin Hassett. And we touched on this earlier about Scott Bessent and your parents might own 12 or 20 homes at the time of retirement.
12 to 15.
12 to 15. Sorry, my mistake. Didn't want to go over the top and make them seem insane. Pause for dramatic silence. Yeah. So let's go see what Hassett's going to tell America, about this administration's plan for affordability. Quote, the fact is the U.S. economy is fundamentally sound and that if it were to be extended, the war, it wouldn't really disrupt the U.S. economy very much at all, which is weird from somebody who's about to be asked to donate another $200 billion for it. Yeah. But never mind that. Back to Hassett, it would hurt consumers, and we'd have to think about, if that continued, what we would do about that. But that's like really the last of our concerns right now, because we're is going to go ahead of schedule. So everything's more expensive, and he literally said that is the last thing on our mind at the moment, speaking for the administration.
The age of affordability is behind us. That was a problem under Joe Sleepy Biden.
Yeah, so affordability is still a hoax, evidently.
They're going to do the same thing as before. Trump's going to get up there. He's going to scream and tell you, like, exit down 600 million%. Like, no, they're not. He's like, you're an idiot. You're fake news. Like, I literally have a receipt right here. It's like, get him out of here.
Numbers are a construct.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Now, when you add Trump's little quote about high gas prices actually being good because we are making more money, and honestly, I hope every Democrat just plays that on a loop as their ads that are going to ruin football this year.
The fact that it's we, like, buddy, that's not us. Like, when the stock market goes up, that really doesn't do much for the average American. And did you see the thing on how the Dow's doing?
Oh, I mean how it's no longer 50,000, so now we can start getting answers about who raped all those kids?
It's at 46. Ever since she brought it up at 50K, it's done nothing but plunge.
Yeah, that sounds about on brand. So affordability is still a hoax, and this administration is literally the last thing on this administration's mind. So I don't know what that tells Americans going into the voting polls, but yeah, what are you going to do?
One thing about the whole 12 to 15 houses that they did, I saw in another state, they passed some kind of a law that restricted institutional investment from buying homes. And the thing about institutional investment, you're considered an institutional investor. Can you guess at how many homes?
Is it 2?
360. So, and essentially, if I'm BlackRock and I buy your homes LLC and I'm at 360 homes, I'm going to start I buy your homes 2 LLC, and I'm going to buy another 360 of your homes.
Yes, this is BlackRock 2 Electric Boogaloo.
They think the American people are just morons. Like, we're going to restrict institutional investors. Like, what's the definition? 360 homes.
360 homes.
Yes.
That is a bunch of full ass towns here in Arizona.
Yeah.
You know how your parents, right before, as they were getting ready to retire, buy small towns.
Just buy an entire place.
Let them eat cake, man. It's a bold strategy, Cotton, so let's see how it pays off for them. And finally, I've been dying for this. It's been a rough week. We're killing more children over in Iran. Honey Badgerstan's still holding on for dear life. The economy sucks. Rapists are still, running our country. It's amazing. You got to take the small wins where you get it. And I've got one for you, ladies and gents. Feel-good moment of the weekend. Afro Man today won his defamation case against 7 Ohio police officers. Have you heard about that lemon pound cake?
I've heard different things about it. I heard like one of his jams. I've seen some of videos of the cops crying. That's but not exactly the whole lemon pound cake thing. What is that?
Okay, so we're gonna time travel back to 2022. Where recording artist Afro Man, who I was not aware was A, still alive, or B, still making music, and not just because I got high. Hanging out, evidently Ohio police get a tip that there might be a kidnapped person in his home, so they got a no-knock warrant and went and kicked his door down, rifled through all of his stuff, whole mess. Afro Man, clearly nobody was there. They just broke in his door for no reason. But then they refused to pay for the damages. The police department just said no. So Afro Man said, bet, and made an entire album about these 7 police officers in the Ohio State Police. It is amazing. I am a man who appreciates pettiness, and buddy, this might be my new king.
So these cops were doing ICE level stuff back in 2022. They're visionaries.
It's Ohio, man. Evidently, all the real cops were busy trying to get Dominicans from eating dogs and stuff, or whatever that BS lie was.
I don't think we were even on the eating dogs and the cats just yet.
I guess that was 2024. So I guess that the Haitian eat your pet thing was still underground at the time. Yes, they just go kick his door down, and which I get it, not to blast cops here, frivolously. I understand they got a tip, got a no-knock warrant. Seems like everything's all good. Clearly, it's an inconvenience to Afro Man, and then they kind of threw some salt in the wound. So he said, I guess I'm going to start writing music.
But if you see cameras when you're in homie's house, why do you then do stupid S?
So the best part about, well, let me start with the let me build this crescendo up. So these 7 cops, he makes an album called Lemon Pound Cake around one cop who's caught on his own security camera walking through a room, then stopping and looking over and staring longingly at a lemon pound cake that's on Afro Man's kitchen counter. And as a big boy, I get it. I understand, saw that look in his eye, and I went, I know exactly what that is. I do that often. So he makes the album called Lemon Pound Cake, and he trashes these cops. So these cops all decide we're going to sue Afro Man for defamation to the tune of 3.9 milli, which isn't really that much money divided by 7, but, you know, I just got done telling you how poor I was, so we'll move on. So, unfortunately, Afro Man doesn't settle. He's a man of the people. Takes him to court. Now these cops have to sit there and go on the record and discuss the lyrics of this rap album he made about them and why they're suing because of the emotional damage, right? So, where we go? First, we'll start off with Deputy Lisa Phillips had to look into a camera and say she has never eaten out Afro Man's wife. All right, pretty good. Or Randy Walters, who had to testify that he personally does not know if Afro Man has slept with his wife. It is so cringy and bad. It's watching a slow car wreck. You can't take your eyes away.
I ended up catching this one today when I was waiting on Costco to open, and the Randy Walters, and they're talking to him, and he's central casting Ohio cop, like bald head, like big old fat face, and asking him, he's like, has your wife slept with Afro Man? He's like, I don't know. I was like, she may have. I don't know if he sings. He's like, what the hell? And then he's like, he's like, have you been called a B before? He's like, yeah, but never on a record. So they have to, like, in order for this defamation lawsuit that they have going on, they have to prove that they're being called and they're being defamed. He's like, listen, man, you've been called a B before. He's like, yeah, but no one's made a record about it.
Not just records, videos as well, using his own security camera footage of these people.
From his own home for when they broke in. Makes sense.
Yeah, he paid for the footage. He didn't ask them to come in. Mm-hmm. But the creme de la creme, I can taste it, is Sean Cooley, Mr. Lemon Pound Cake guy himself. Watching this guy basically tear up, recounting all the times his coworkers had brought in lemon pound cake to tease him, chef's kiss. It is the most performative victimization. I love it. The only thing I found more entertaining was Afro Man himself, who was articulate and petty and beautiful all at once. When asked about why he made this album, looked the judge in the face and said, to raise money to replace the stuff the cops broke. Buddy, I got to tell you, my petty meter's off the charts and my nipples are hard.
You know what the best thing about all this is that these guys, I would imagine at least half of them have Punisher stickers on the back of their trucks. And they got this whole sheepdog thing, and they're doing posts on Instagram, be like, I am the line that stops the crazies from attacking you. Like, they call me Pound Cake. Like, you are the softest human being on this planet.
You run from the mess. I run to it. Stop showing footage of me.
Then Satan whispered, you'll never weather the storm. And I replied, I am the storm. Like,
yeah, all these people definitely have that stupid We the People sticker on the back of their pickups, and every one of these cowardly God, I really wish we could swear. These sissies went and sued this giant black man dressed like Kid Rock, and he showed up and just torched them. It was
excellent
glorious. It was glorious.
So, as we leave everybody for the weekend, I do want to mention one thing, touch base on the SAVE Act. It's, you heard about this?
No. What do we got now?
So, Trump's very big into it because all the illegals have been voting in elections, and he won the 2020 election. And he's saying, like, we need to pass the SAVE Act. And The SAVE Act says in order to register, you need either a passport, which you clearly now have, but haven't had for the longest time. If you don't have that, do you know where your birth certificate is?
No. Who knows that?
You know where your social security card is?
Also a no.
So the ID that you use to fly domestically would not be enough for you to vote. And have you ever heard of a Heritage Foundation?
I have, and I was hoping you were going to bring this up.
Yes. So the Heritage Foundation is, if you guys don't know, super right-wing. And they keep a record of 1,546 proven instances of voter fraud. And did you get a chance to find out how many of those are non-citizens voting?
I believe the number came to around 15.
It's a lot more than that. Since the 1980s, when they've been keeping track of this, it has been 68 total cases of immigrants voting in our elections.
68 over a 40-year period?
Yeah.
God.
Probably all under Sleepy Joe Biden and Barack Hussein Obama.
I mean, do you know what 68 votes? Like I understand that there's roughly 400 million Americans, but 68, that's the number we should focus on.
That swings California red. That's all I'm saying.
Jeez.
Well, we don't have Joe Biden if those immigrants, Mexicans in California, are not counted.
You know, honestly, I'd like to open this one up to the viewers. So, you know, we're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Blueski, all of them. So I would like you, get good, bad, I'm indifferent. Just holler at us. You can reach me personally at Slappy8941 at Grindr. Just drop me a message, quick little pic, and, you know, I'd love to get your all's take on this.
So we usually do want to end it on a good note, so I do want to apologize for the downer, but I figured I wanted to bring it up because some of you Republican friends are probably going to be talking about how the SAVE Act is, I don't know, saving things, but it's a whole load of BS. It's a manufactured issue, and it's a joke, kind of like the Iranian war.
Yep, and requiring people to go get a passport is definitely a poll tax, which is illegal. So I don't know. I know laws don't really matter to you guys unless we're black, but yeah, it's BS, and it's just there to screw with people.
So as we send you into the weekend, we'll see you guys next week, and go get effed. I'm Alex Bidway.
And I'm Slappy8941.
Daddy, chill.
Later, Gators.